good afternoon and good evening, and a very warm welcome to each and every one of you who have gathered here to be a part of RedTeam Security Summit 2021. In this section is on the topic "The Future is Now: Measure Your Breach Likelihood and Mitigate Security Risk in Real Time" by Mr. Rahul Tyagi. We are glad that RedTeam Security Summit 2021 will be able to share the charm and intelligence of Mr. Rahul Tyagi, who is a co-founder of Safe Security. Rahul is a key executive responsible for developing the SafeMe platform, which is a unique mobile-first approach to people security and awareness. His achievements have got him listed in Fortune India's 40 Under 50 list, both in 2019 and 2018, and Entrepreneur of the Year award by Entrepreneur Magazine for the year 2019. We are delighted to hold such an intelligent presence at RedTeam Security Summit 2021. So without further ado, I would like to welcome Mr. Rahul Tyagi onto the stage. The stage is all yours, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, dear, for the introduction, and a very good morning still to everyone who is watching this live telecast. My name is Rahul Tyagi, and many of you maybe know me, and those who do not know me, and especially what exactly our organization do, I'll be talking about that, and what problem statement we are trying to address in the security industry, that I will also shed some light on. So let me share my screen without taking much time. So just give me 1 second. Yeah. So I hope you guys can see my screen. If someone can give a thumbs up to me, so I can continue. So I'll consider this yes. So my topic is today, the future is now, measure your breach likelihood and mitigate security risk in real time. Now, to start this talk, I have divided this talk into 3 parts. Everywhere breaches are happening, and what we are trying to solve in the industry through a very innovative way. I will be addressing that today, and I will be sharing that today, and from that there will be a lot of takeaways from you as an entrepreneur or as a security practitioner, or maybe an industry professional who is looking for a solution which can change the way you look at the security posture of your organization. So before you start the entire presentation, I would like to set the context with a very old example, and I want you to take to 1942, when in Oxford University, when Albert Einstein gave an exam to his senior class of physics students. Later, his assistant asked Dr. Einstein that, isn't this exactly the same exam you gave to the same class exactly 1 year ago? So he gave the same exam question paper to the students which he gave last year. And Einstein replied very quietly, yes, my dear, this is the same question paper I have given to these students which I gave last year. And again, flabbergasted, the assistant said, but why you would do that, Dr. Einstein? What sense that make? Then Einstein replies, well, the questions may be the same, but the answers have changed. Now, I want you to take this slide as the foundation of my talk, which I will be bringing on the table today, that from last 40 years of the security, problems remains the same, but the answer has changed. And what answer we are trying to address, I will be talking about that. Now, to start the conversation, I would like to shed some light on that. After serving more than 250 customers globally, the main when we ask them that what is the primary reason, or what we sense the primary reason why they are investing money on cybersecurity, the primary reason of most of the organization, or I can say 95% organization, or maybe 99, to be frank, is they don't want to be get breached. The number one reason of investing into security is that no company wants to get beat. They want to avoid the breach. And then follow up with another soft reason also, which is minimizing the financial impact, regulatory and reputational risk, which is again is the byproduct when breach will happen. Then these are the reason also which comes along with that. But the primary reason again why companies are investing heavily on cybersecurity products or in the cybersecurity industry is to avoid of getting breached. But when we talk about the breach, if I ask you, the problem with predicting a breach today is that there is not a quantified way of predicting a breach. I'll give you a small example which will set the context. If everyone who's watching me, if I ask you, what is the battery status of your phone right now? Your answer would be it's 10%, 20%, 30%. So can I say that you can quantify the battery status into a very, very easily understandable manner? But if I ask you what is the what is the security posture of your smartphone right now? Can you measure your security of your smartphone? Now you can say that I have antivirus, I have this and that, but still there is not a quantified way of measuring the overall security of a smartphone. So when we talk about breach likelihood, that what is the likelihood of my organization to be breached, there are certain questions needs to be answered by the security practitioner. And it followed with actually two questions when we talk about breach likelihood. The first question is, how do you know it, that what is the percentage or how exactly or at what level you are likely to be breached? And second is, if you know it as a security practitioner, maybe as a CISO or CIO who's a core technical person, how you will showcase this to the other line of defense of people or other departments of the organization, from the hierarchy, from the board to the stakeholders, to the investors, or to the shareholders, and every line of business within your organization. That's a very tough job because you cannot go to your board with a 300 page of a report stating these are the high vulnerability, these are the low vulnerability, so and so forth. So these are the two challenges which we have seen organizations has faced. First, they don't have any quantified real manner to know exactly how breachable they are. And in case they know, they are unable to address this into a very, very easy manner to the board and to the other stakeholders. Now, I would like to share some light on the impact of not knowing being a security practitioner. Considering you are a CISO, there are number of questions you need to address and number of questions you need to answer periodically, can be monthly, can be yearly, can be quarterly. So the first thing which of if you do not know the impact of breach likelihood, so the first question which will be coming in your mind, that how can I find out the possibility of a successful breach in my organization? And this is the impact of not knowing anything. Second is, how can I find out real business impact of a successful business breach in my environment? Now, when I talk about business impact, this business impact can vary from industry to industry. For example, if you're a manufacturer company, the interest of a cyber criminal will be different. He will be attacking or targeting some different type of your crown jewels. Even if I compare that with a pharmaceutical company, that's maybe a patent or maybe some kind of a vaccine critical detail which they want to steal. And if I change that business impact to to a bank, then definitely it's the money which will be bringing attraction to the cyber criminals. Third question, which will be that what can I do today to reduce the possibility of the breach in my environment? So if you know the possibility of the successful breach, that where the breach can happen. Second, you also know the real business impact, that if the breach will happen, these are the business areas which will be getting a hit, and maybe a reputation damage, or maybe my crown jewels will be hit by the cyber criminals. Then definitely you will be looking for a solution, that how can actually I reduce the possibility of the breach in my environment. And followed by, when you know to today how to reduce the possibility of the breach, you will also like to know that, okay, if I mitigate this possibility, then what are the things which I will reduce in terms of the impact to my business. Now, these are the four questions are a repercussion of the impact. And if you do not know these four questions, then as a security practitioner or a senior person in security industry, it's very, very difficult to be in a gray state to tell your board or tell the other stakeholders a clear and crystal picture or real-time picture of the security posture of your organization. First, I told you, if you do not know what is the breach, if I go back my slide, if you know, the first question was, how do you know it? So let's say an example that now we know it. Then the second problem comes, how you will translate into an easy manner to the other stakeholders within the organization. And that comes when the impact of not showing it. Now you know that what is the problem, but now you have to show it, but you're unable to show it. And showing happen in a different way, it manifests in an organization, into a different manner and into a different department level of understanding. So for example, if you want to tell this to the board members and the CEO, their question will be, how safe is their business today, and how you will present that to it. You want to go with a report, or you want to tell them it's red, green, blue, or is their business safer today than the previous past month, quarter, or year? If they're investing money into the cybersecurity and they are saying that this budget we have given, then what exactly is the change you have brought to the table in the last one quarter or over last month in the cybersecurity? This needs to be addressed to the audience who are bored, who may or may not be technical people. Second, when it lands to the CFO, and CFO is a person where you need to get the budget for the security products, and definitely there will be a question that what is the return on investment of the security budget which you are asking as a CISO or a CIO, and that question needs to be solved into a business understanding manner, or a dollar value risk kind of a way, where, because CFO understand only numbers, so what is your way of showing them that what this is the ROI I'm bringing to the table? And second is, how much security budget is sufficient for their business? And this is a very critical question, because this is one of the hardest question to answer. How much budget you need to really ensure that you are close to 100% secure, which is not the ideal case, but maybe set up to a level which gives you confidence that yes, we are into a safer situation. And third is the for the department line of business leaders. The problem is with the other departments with the organization, they think that the security is for the whole organization into a 360-degree structure, and may or may not be that security is not focused on a per department or per line of business which is there. And that's the reason they have a different level of questions which you need to address to every line of business which is there, like how is security relevant to their department, what does it mean for the leader, and how can security be a competitive advantage in terms of the other variants which are there in the organization. So in a nutshell, I want you to understand that as a security practitioner, being a CISO or CIO, these one is how you, if in case you do not know how breachable you are, what are the problems and what are the gray areas which you need to address. And second is, even in case you know in a very, very quantified manner, you need to translate that to these individuals who actually brings the budget or decision making to bring more security products to the organization and more security to the organization. Now let's talk about efforts before the breach. No company on the planet wants to get breached, and definitely they do a lot of things to protect themselves. So I want you to look at the efforts which traditionally companies do to prevent a breach within their organization. And to start with, it's a sample set based assessment. And I'm sure majority of you who are following the enterprise security structure here understand that. What do you mean by sample set? In sample set, in a very large organization, we will, from 10,000 assets, we will pick the most critical ones, or you can say a set of assets, do the assessment of that VAPT or whatever you go call it, and on the basis of the results of that, we implement the results to other assets which are there, instead of assessing all the 10,000 assets into the organization, which is again not a 100% proof or 100% good practice to follow. Second is questionnaire based assessment. And I think this is a very big problem in the industry. And questionnaire based assessment is always there. And the problem with that is that it's human centric, and humans definitely will make errors. And at the time of assessment, when they fill these questionnaires, there is a possibility that intentionally maybe they will not fill, from the fear that maybe there is a scrutiny will happen on them. And second is maybe by mistake they have filled the questionnaires into a wrong manner, or into a different manner, which is not giving us the clear picture. Again, that is a gray area. You cannot 100% trust on this part also. Now, third, which is also very, very important, which I think you will be agreed, to protect every organization today, there are mainly three pillars. One is process, one second is people, and third is your technology stack. We call it PPT. The problem is all three these verticals are assessed, or the assessment of all these pillars happened into very siloed mode. The technology people may or may not will be different from the compliance people, and the compliance people may be different from the people assessment people, from an awareness or maybe the phishing campaign. So every exercise happened into a siloed mode, and the outcome of these activity comes from the activity comes every outcome of this entire pillars outcome comes into a standalone format. So this is not a combined way of looking at the organization's holistic cybersecurity. So if you've done a VAPT within the organization and then there is a compliance happening, the timing of these things are can vary from 1 month to 2 months. It's not happening at a one time, and outcome of these things are not collaborated and collective, which can tell you that what is the real security portion of all these three pillars. And the fourth, as I mentioned already, the problem is the point in time assessment. If I ask you when did you had your last assessment, it can be 1 quarter before, I think in the last 1 quarter, or 6 months back, or 1 year back. So there is no real time, or not almost near to real time kind of assessment. It's point in time assessment which happened, which and if you had an assessment last quarter, then there are n number of changes already happened into the system, into the business application, and so on and so forth. Until the time the next assessment will come to the picture, then there is a huge possibility, or there is a large possibility that maybe there is a breach will happen. So this is traditional way of the organizations look, majority of the organization look. Now, what all customer have there in their hybrid IT environment. So I want you to understand now in terms of the investment into security, what they have invested into the traditional hybrid IT environment, what is the level of investment they have done. So from the left hand side, these are the industries, and for the right hand side, you can see this is the traditional architect, or you can say the bubble of hybrid IT environment look like, from identity access management to the EDRs to the SMT to SOC to the intrusion detection system, so on and so forth. And of course, like who can forget next generation firewall, right? So if you see this entire thing, this is what we already had paid. And even after paying this much of amount on these solutions, still, if you see the holistic picture of this entire bubbles, or all the activities, most of the things are worked in a siloed mode. They don't come together to give you a single picture that what is the security status. And after even having this, still they get most of the organization get breached. If you see the majority of the breach happen in the last 5 to 10 years, overall PCI compliance to overall ISO 27, or from a compliance point of view, from the traditional level of security solutions, they have everything, but still they got breached. Now, when a breach happen, how the traditional industry responds today? When the breach will happen, the first thing you do is definitely incident response. An incident response is again is a reactive activity. It's not a proactive activity, guys. And once the attack happened, they will do the assessment. They will see what was the root cause, and after that, to ensure that there is on the recommendations which were given from the incident response team assessment, they will do the red team or maybe one or two red team exercises to fill the gap and to see in case is there any other way from where hacker can get in. And after this, the recommendation is to buy more product to fill those gaps due to which the attack happened, or maybe to tweak the existing or upgrade the existing infrastructure. And in some company, we have seen the changing the entire architecture of the organization, which is a very big deal, and it needs a huge investment in terms of money. So does this still give confidence not getting breached again? After when an organization gets hacked, they do the incidents response, they do the red teaming, and they buy more product, invest more into security products. But if I ask you, in case your organization get hacked, and if you do this thing, which usually everyone do you still ask yourself, do you think that still it gives a confidence, a realistic confidence that now I am secure, now nobody can hack me? So I leave that answer on your judgment. So now, as an Indian company, we started in 2012, and the problem statement which we are trying to address, which majority of maybe do not know, is trying to solve this problem. We want to quantify the cyber risk within the organization. We want to put a number on the 360-degree security of your organization, and we will predict that what is the your breach likelihood in next 1 month, 3 month, or 1 year on the basis of whatever it's there. And I'm sure that the inputs which we do, the way we look at the security structure, many entrepreneurs or who are watching first time, or maybe security practitioners, they will look into security into a different manner. And now, of course, after the talk, I would love to take your questions and take the things forward at how we address this. So when we started the product and when we tried to solve this problem, the first thing we asked, and these are the all pain points which we have observed from more than 250 customers of the assessment. As we started as a services company and then we moved to the product. And in the services business, what we learned that it was possible to automatically assess all the technology assets. What if? What if it was possible automatically assess all the employees? It was what if it was possible to automatically assess all the third parties, and third parties, these are becoming the core reason of why the organizations getting breached, because you're taking care of your home but you're not taking care of the third parties, and you don't have that grip on the third parties you're associated and taking services from. But what if we can automatically assess all the third parties? And after that, when I assess all the things, I want you to put a business context over it. Again, I will explain the business context. What do you mean by that? If I secure all these three things, maybe in a pharmaceutical company, the business context or is more focused on the employees because they hold the most critical information, how they are more vulnerable to the phishings and so on and so forth. Maybe the third party is huge and there is a lot of back and forth of the critical data goes and back with the third party. So from the hacker's interest, the business context is changed and has to be changed, and the level of attack which happens on a pharmaceutical company will be different from an attack happens on a bank. So after assessing all these things, putting a business context into it, what if this is possible? And instead of getting reactive, because mostly we react when there is an action, what if it is possible that we can proactively and continuously monitor the health of our security within the organization in almost near real time? And when a breach will happen, when breach will happen, you will be able to know that from the signals of your organization's controls which are there. Now, this is the same slide which I showed you before, 3 slides. And now I want you to change little bit that effort before the breach to how we changed effort before the breach, what we are trying to change before the breach. So from a sample set based, what we did is we converted into an enterprise-wide assessment. If you have 100,000 IPs within your organization, no problem. We can access the 100,000 IPs. We can conduct a continuous assessment into that to all the technology stack, which from your endpoints to your databases to your EDRs and so on and so forth, routers and anything which is there. We can access that. And this is brings a more confidence of having a realistic picture that I'm not going with a chunk of the IPs and taking an assessment assumption out of that and then implementing the same thing. So 100,000 IPs to close to 1 million, no issues. You can assess everything. Second thing, what we try to change is from questionnaire-based assessment, we try to change to signal-based assessments. Now, what do you mean by signals? From a technology stack, we have agents, which are agentless and agent-based kind of technologies, APIs, you can say. They will integrated with lot of, so we have more than 150 integration with lot of products from CrowdStrike to Proofpoint to so on and so forth. And from when I talk about signal is the security status or the control status of that device or that integration which happens. So we get those signals in real time from technology, processes, and people automatically. From process, when I'm talk about is what the policies, what are the controls failed in the policies in a real time, you can see that, which I will show you now also. And then people, how many people who are not very good in terms of failed in phishing camping, so on and so forth. And then other things like they're having a dark web exposure into a very in a very big manner, and their passwords are on floating on here and there. And third is your technology again, that what is the control status of the technology stack which are there? Are they configured properly, or are they vulnerable to any recent hack, or are they not updated, so on and so forth? So these are the signals which we will be getting in real time. So instead of questionnaire based assessment, there is no human intervention, or maybe very little human intervention, but this is automatically you will be getting. And then third is from a siloed approach, we are looking at an integrated approach. Whatever the outcome which comes from the processes, the what is the level of your from your compliance status, what is the outcome from comes from the technology, and what is the outcome come from the people part. We integrate everything and then show you that what exactly is the status. And this is something which is a very important factor for every security practitioner to see. And I want that industry should move little bit towards this one also along with us. It's not only we are the player, but this is something I think is need of the hour, where instead of going as a siloed approach, we should have an integrated approach to show the stakeholder that what is the status. And last is from point to point in time, we are talking about continuous and almost real time assessment, which will keep on happening. And imagine you have a board meeting, and when you're presenting the status of the security, you can tell your board that 20 minutes ago, the security status of the entire organization was this. That's a great value add to the board, and a confidence that how real time you are in terms of knowing, not instead of waiting for the assessment from here and there. Now, how we do that technically and what exactly it takes to bring this type of solution on the table, and definitely it's so complex in terms of we've been there from last 5 years developing this, and so on the left hand side, what you see is what we take in account from an input point of view, and from an output point of view, we bring something which is on the right hand side. And what we feel as an organization that to protect any company, we need to little bit move above from the traditional PPT model. And what we do is we have added cybersecurity products and third parties. What we do is we'll take people as a score. And as an organization, what we do is in the center, if you see safe securities, we give score to every organization from 0 to 5. If your score is low, then definitely the probability of your breach is higher. And if your score is on the higher side, that means you are at a low risk. But how we bring that score? So from the people part, we take in account what type of security assessments happen on people. For example, what is the dark web or a deep and dark web exposure of that employer, every employee in your organization, no matter what continent he is or which department. Second, how many phishing campaigns the individual has failed. Third, how many awareness campaign the individual has failed. We club these things together, and how secure its device also. It can be laptop, it can be mobile also. So we club all these things of every individual in the organization and give a score to that individual. So every individual in the organization have a small score on the basis of the same algorithm. And this algorithm we have developed with MIT, Boston, in collaboration in research. So once we have that score, now imagine every individual in the organization is having the same score. And when you club all the scores, it becomes a people score. So what you can see here, the people score is going into the algorithm. In the same manner, all the policies within the organization which are there, what is the status of the failure of the controls and the passing of the controls? Again, every policy will have a score, and holistically, the entire policy group will be having a score, and that score again will go to the main algorithm. Same with every technology, from your router, from your area, from your databases, endpoint, cloud instances, everything which you call technology stack, every IP will be having a score. And holistically, if you put other all the IPs, this becomes your technology score. And again, this goes to the main algorithm. Now, the fourth and fifth part, which I think which you should also consider while doing the assessments, is the cybersecurity products. Traditionally, people think, organization think, if we brought a security solution, we just plug and play, and that's all. And mostly it happens with the standalone systems and standalone solutions. When you bring the cybersecurity solution within the organization and when you plug it, it's done, right? But is it possible that it's not possible that the default setting, if you're running cybersecurity solutions for the default settings and you're not doing any type of enhancements in terms of the configurations, or are you using these cybersecurity products to the optimum level? We check that also. So we check the cybersecurity of the configuration settings of the cybersecurity tools and give score to them. And again, holistically, all the security scores. So by no mean we are competitor to any endpoint solution, to the firewalls. Moreover, that we are a complement to them, because we pick signals from all the siloed security solutions and brought together to bring you a meaningful number into this. So that's where the secure cyber security products come to the picture, and that score also. And last is the third party also. We assess the third party, and this approach happens inside out and outside in both. Most of the companies do outside in, but we do both, and that collectively score also goes to the thing. So all five things goes into the algorithm, and that algorithm we call Bayesian network algorithm, AI ML based algorithm, which is there. And what it brings out for the in a meaningful way to the stakeholders is the breach likelihood score, mainly the score which I was talking about, 0 to 5. So all individual scores comes together, and algorithm will bring a one score to your organization that is a collectiveness score and the status of the security from very 0 to 5, including people, policy, technology. And more you go to the score level, it becomes a very easily understandable manner. It's like your hemoglobin report, if your blood count is in this range, you don't need to be a doctor to understand that what is the status of my health or how much blood am having. In the same manner, more you go to this side, you will be having a score which is easily a simple language, can be understood by the CFO, can be understood by the board members. And more if you go on the left hand side to drill down, you can land on a single IP to check the status of the security. So on the left hand side is way very technical, on the right hand side the outcome becomes as simple as it possible. And third is again breach likelihood for ransomware attack. We will also, what we brought to a table, that what attack my organization is more vulnerable to. Is it ransomware? Is it a phishing, business, email compromise, DDoS, etc., etc. And the last is the breach likelihood reporting and actionable insights. In case if I discovered that 95% there is a possibility that there can be a ransomware, I'm vulnerable to ransomware attack in next 1 month, what are the 10 things or the 20 things or the controls which are failing, which I need to patch? That is what we should bring to the table. So by this, what we brought to the security community is a breach likelihood of the entire overall organization, breach likelihood of per business unit of yours, breach likelihood your per IP, breach likelihood of your per employer, and last is breach likelihood of your per third party. And holistically, all these things. Now the CISO will show to the business a score. This is the score which is there. And in every organization, in some organization, compliance is the primary score which they want to highlight as per the requirement. In some cases, there is a technology which pays more importance. In some cases, there are employee security pays more importance. So on the basis of that, you can change the score. Is it you want to show it to the board, insurance, risk, so on and so forth. So in the last now what is the outcome which we got, and at the problem statement which I started in the thing, the what is the answer now? The question remains the same, everyone will be breached, but what is the answer which we try to change in the industry is now you can have a clear visibility on that there is a 70% likelihood of us to get breached. More than 50% of our critical third party currently have a poor security posture, and 35% of our employees are likely to become a victim of phishing attack, and from those signals which are there. And on the term of security posture, you can say we have reduced almost 27% breach likelihood. We have reduced breach likelihood by 27% over the last quarter. Now that's a very, very quantified way of looking at the security. This gives confidence to the board that if they are allowing the investment, it confidence to the investors, shareholders, and in most of the cases, people have published in one of the customer have published in their shareholder report also that in the last quarter, in last year, our security was this, and now we are at this score, which shows a confidence that whatever the security investments this organization is doing is considered to be is coming to an action and bringing something reasonable to the thing. So for a CISO, I think these are the things which makes him more sense and gives more confidence. First, they can monitor breach likelihood per unit or of every line of business, monitor their breach likelihood per operational unit, reporting breach likelihood to the board member and risk, and this is the most important part because it's a board who decide what level of investment you should do, because at the end of the day they need to be their last say, they have the last saying, right? Then breach likelihood as a baseline to allow assets to go live. Now this portion is very, very important. So I'll give you an example. What we did with customers is that before any asset will go to the production line, their safe score has to have minimum 3 or 3.5. Then only it becomes a part of the entire ecosystem. So it's not like you just get an asset and put it there. So this also helps to have a sync between the existing secure structure, and when a new asset comes to the organization, to that structure, it will gel up in a very good manner, and it's on the same level of security posture where other are. So anything new which will get into the organization, first it needs to be audited. It should reach a score 3, and then it will go there. And then we talk about third party, and then prioritizing the gap of the to reduce the, and these are the actionable inputs which are there. So from a customer point of view, we are lucky to have in India, we have all these reputed banks, from the legals, from the healthcare, from manufacturing, hospitality. These are taking care of, we're the one who's taking care of the security in whatever the capacity we have with this our product. And I'm happy to say that the change we are bringing to the industry is very, very powerful. And in future, you will see the risk quantification, it'll become the primary goal. And in case organizations who will not able to showcase this the way a board or a CFO understand, and if we are not able to translate the cybersecurity into an easy manner, then the survival will be very, very difficult in the industry. And again, this is for the technical people to, in summary, that what exactly we do. In center, there is our algorithm, as I told you, and these are the API fields, existing security, every geographical area's score, and then these are the, and we give score to these all items which are listed there, and the outcome which you will get is this. And by the way, the actionable insights we have converted into a MITRE framework so that you can prioritize this thing. So just give me one, let me try to showcase you a small hint of that, because in case there is no demo, people will not like it. So So what you can see is this dashboard of our, as whatever the theoretical I told you, this is a real instance running. And if you see on the right hand side, this is the score of the organization. And if I go here, you can see there is a people score, which is 1.56, policies, technology, and the technology also inside out. And if I click on technology here or inside out, you will see all the cloud instances, every cloud instance having a score, Azure, databases, endpoint, middleware, servers, and then you can see 91.85% asset got accessed in last seven days. And what you can do better, you can do better this. And if I click on every server here, you can see these are the critical servers which are having very critical high severity. And we can all further drill down here. If I click here, you can see what type of data, what is the agent version, when it was last accessed, and what are the configured to take the score higher. These are the inputs which you need to fill. And again, if you do not know what it is, you need to again click here, go more further, will tell you that what it is. And in case still your organization's individual, what we have seen is in case there's a new attack and they are not familiar with that, there are, we call it a five-year child rule. It's a very easy manner what to do. And in case still you don't understand, we have a references also to go for and observations to take care of. So, and the last which I want to showcase is the compliance. Again, the first party compliance, real-time assessment of all the compliance, and then third parties, what are there, what is the level of third parties, how they are. And the last is your ATT and CK framework, which is predicting the breachly likelihood. And if you see entire organization's control from people, process, technology, cybersecurity is converted into MITRE framework. And if you see here, if I put what is the likelihood of my organization to be breached from ransomware, and if I apply here, it says 35%. And every control is mapped with the MITRE framework. And again, same with phishing, 26%. Same with DDoS attack, 31%. So this is what we are trying to change in the cybersecurity by bringing this. And if you see this 1.6, so these are all the score in the left. And if you collect all these scores, and the good part is you can see it's a real time. Every day you have a visibility on your score, what is going up, what is going down, so on and so forth. So this is it from my side. Thank you so much for attending. I hope I try to shed some light on what exactly we do. People have a gray area on that, but this is exactly what we do as an organization, and we are trying to change in the industry to quantify cybersecurity. I hope you enjoyed the talk, and in case someone is interested to have more conversation on that part, then please reach me anytime. I'll be more than happy to assist. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. That was an amazing session. Uh, Needless to say that it was a remarkable products that you are creating, the vision that you have to bring forth better solutions in the security domain. That is truly inspiring as well. I think the audience might also have got inspired to have such a vision in their products as well. If anyone have any questions to ask to Mr. Rahul Tyagi, then you can ask the questions. Here is one such question, sir.
Is it necessary to have continuous vulnerability assessment of government intranet, and how will it help improve security posture? Well, I think it's not only the government intranet. I think it's every organization, because it depends upon what frequent changes you are bringing into the business. If there is a continuous change in the applications and the environment, you're putting new assets, removing new assets, changing the compliance, changing the architecture of few things. So definitely, when there is a change, there is a possibility, or maybe you're upgrading or downgrading something. So continuous assessment has to be a integral part of everything, including government and the private sector also. So I think it's very, very important to conclude it into a nutshell. Where can we find real-time application give security based on any case study? So I didn't got the question, to be very frank. I think you need to articulate the question in a better format. I'm sorry, I was not able to get it. Case study of security. Okay. An example. Real-time assessment, I case study. I think let me figure it out in case in my organization we have anything. It will be better if you can mail us. I'll be more than happy. Or maybe you can visit our website. I think there are case studies which are there. Our website is safe.security. And you will be more. I think there are a number of papers which are there, where you will be able to find it for sure. So the website name is safe.security.
Okay, so since we are running out of time now, if there are any questions, any more questions, there is this lobby section in the left-hand side of the screen. So you can go there and ask the questions. So thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. That was a wonderful session, really, really inspiring to see the vision that you have and the products, the quality of the products that you are focusing, not really like deviating from the quality, and always providing always wanting to providing the best to the people is really great and inspiring. Thank you so much, and we would love to collaborate with you in the future as well. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for
Thank you.
participating.
Thank you to the entire team, and I will cherish the entire Red Team Academy. They have done a great job, and I'm always impressed with the professionalism and the hard effort Jazel and team everyone has provided to everyone. My best wishes to every speaker who is there, and God bless everyone. Thank you so
Thank you
much.
so much, sir. Thank you so much.